Hey there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Eva and this is Women Blazing Trails. It is a channel for, okay, hang on a second. I'm totally loving this pink silhouette thing I got going on. We'll get to the video in a second. This pink silhouette thing I got going on with my hair, that actually is just from my poster board, which is actually my mind map. But look how seriously cool that is. I think that's awesome. Anyway, okay, so clearly Eva has shiny object syndrome. Squirrel. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel for women over 50, but anybody can hang out and listen and learn and do whatever. I do a lot of how-to videos. I talk about my travels in Guatemala, and we just do random stuff on this channel. There's no reason or rhyme. Some of it's inspirational, some of it's educational, some of it is informative. So it's just a hodgepodge of a bunch of really cool videos from me with my pink halo hair. I think I'm just going to keep doing videos here because I love my pink halo hair. So listen, today we're going to talk about how to make new friends when you're over 50 years old, but it doesn't even have to be just like when you're over 50. It could be like if you're over 30 or over 40, and especially now, I think it's really, really hard or harder to make new friends because there's so many restrictions all around the world. There's different restrictions, restaurants, clubs, libraries. I mean, I don't know where people go to meet and make friends out in the real world. But we can't clearly anymore because COVID kind of put a cap on that and our interaction with other humans. So many of us are forced to interact only with our family and our coworkers, and a lot of us aren't really allowed to get out and make new friends and shit, depending on where in the world you live, of course. So anyway, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to make new friends over 50. I just want to play with my pink hair, really. I don't even want to do a video. I just want to play with my pink hair. We're going to talk about that right now. And if you're into random how-tos and just hanging out with a crazy lady over 50 who happens to live in Guatemala and does random stuff, then hit the subscribe button and the notifications alert and all that good stuff. And we're going to get on with the video and we're going to talk about how to make friends over 50 years old. Let's go.
Hi, do you want to be my friend? I don't think I want to be your friend. We won't have anything to talk about if you're my friend. Hi. Oh, hi. Oh, there's lots of you guys. Oh, we can all be friends and have fun together.
So one of the questions I get asked a lot is, because I did come down to Guatemala by myself 5 years ago. Actually, I think, yeah, this year is going to be 6 years. I did come down here by myself with no friends really, and I didn't really do much research or anything when I came down here. I pretty much just bought a one-way ticket. I'm sitting on my dog, sorry. Bought a one-way ticket, did a little bit of research on international living and in a couple of Facebook groups, and away I went. So anyway, yeah, so one of the questions I get asked quite a bit is how did you make friends, or was it hard to make friends, and that kind of stuff. And I think the difference is for women over 50, as opposed to like when we're younger, when we're in our 20s, or when we're in our 30s, we're more outgoing, and we socialize more, and we have more interaction with people our age. You go to going to clubs and in our workplaces and all that kind of stuff. And I think that once you get over 50, we don't have that anymore. I mean, many of us are retired from work. So when we do retire from our jobs, and sad to say, you actually don't really hang on to those friends anymore. And some of us move. If some of you have just divorced or separated with your husband and you don't, I hate to really sound like negative, and I hope this doesn't come out sounding negative. It's just the reality of it, really. You generally lose those friends too, and it's not because how can I say it? It just happens. There's no reason or rhyme to it. The friends that you had with your partner, let's say you were married for like 15 or 20 or 25 or 30 years or however many fucking years you were married. Let's say you were married all that time and now you're separating. All those friends that you accumulated with your partner, they're not all going to hang around with you anymore. You are going to lose friends. And that's just the reality of it. And there's no real reason or rhyme to it. It just happens. And that's okay. You hang on to, you can hold on to the memories of your friendship with them and treasure it. But you're moving on to a new stage in your life right now. Like you're over 50. I find this is all my personal opinion, really. But over 50, you're like growing and you're evolving and you're taking count. This is what happened to me. You're taking count of the last, 20, 30, 40 years of your life. And you're realizing that a lot of it didn't work. A lot of it sucked. You hated a lot of it. Nothing, you weren't happy most of those years. And now that you're over 50 and you're alone, whether you just left your partner or you've just moved to a new city or country, now that you're alone, you get to totally reinvent who you are and be who you really want to be, not what society wants you to be, not what your husband wants you to be, not what your children expect you to be, or your coworkers or your neighbors. It's not that anymore. Now it's all about you. And as you step into this personal power, and this personal power is a really, really beautiful thing, but as you step into this personal power, you're going to start seeing the things that you don't really want to put up with anymore, and things that you hold dear to your heart, things that you value, and things that you don't value so much anymore. So it's a little bit different as we're getting older, making friends over 50. You're just going in with a much, I think, you're just going in with a much different mindset, and you're not. Um, and it's not so much that, oh, I need to make friends because I don't want to be alone anymore, and I want to fit in with the cool kids, and I want to hang out with the cool crowd. It's not about that anymore. We don't really think like that anymore. So we're just going to get right into the how, because now that I explained, and we kind of already know, but I think before I get into the how, I think the biggest message that I want to share with you before we get into that is don't sacrifice your values, who you are, what you believe in, things you stand for. Don't sacrifice any of that just so that you can make a friend or be friends with somebody or anything like that. Like, use your voice and don't forget to stand up for what you believe in and what you don't believe in and what you don't put up with. Now, you also have to remember, for many of us, I know for me, we have been, for the last 20, however many years, we've been in shitty relationships, and, we were probably molded into this person that our partner wanted us to be, and we're not that person anymore. So a lot of us, myself included, we were yes sir, no sir, how high sir, women partners were, and we just put up with things, and we just agreed, and we lost our voice, and we didn't. We let people walk all over us, and um, and we were just like quiet little church mice, like little doormats, but that's not who we are anymore. So don't put up with anybody's bullshit. Don't put up with anybody's crap. If somebody starts talking about stuff that you don't like, then just walk away, or you don't even have to hang out anymore. Or you can say, hey, can we change the subject? And if they don't want to change the subject, then just say, you know what, excuse me, I'm going to go powder my nose, or I don't know, go do whatever. Go and book a one-way ticket to Guatemala, whatever you want to do. But we don't have to put up with things anymore. Use your voice. I want you, as you as we're evolving and growing and getting older and learning about ourselves, I want you to find and use your voice more. And that's going to help you when you are looking for friends, because they're going to respect who you are. They're going to respect you, your confidence. They're going to respect your assertiveness. They're going to respect, your values and your morals. Or maybe they won't, and you will see then, right then and there, who your friends will be, can be, and who your friends aren't going to be, and who you don't want to be your friends in the first place. So make sure you use your voice and don't sacrifice yourself just to be friends with somebody. Like, don't do that. That's just a really dumb idea. And those are the things that we did when we were like in our 20s, maybe, or maybe even in high school and when we were teenagers. It's not something we're going to do in our 50s. Like, don't do that. So, anyway, getting right to this, one of the ways that I found friends, when I was coming down to Guatemala. So what I did was I joined Facebook groups, two Facebook groups for the little town that I live in here in Guatemala, just to ask a lot of questions and get a lot of information. And it was also a really good way to meet people who live in the town, who had different ideas and different, suggestions and all that kind of things. So I made friends that way, and I already had one before I came down here. I had already made two friends, just in Facebook groups, just asking questions and just getting to know people. So that's how I made friends. That was one way I made friends. And, and I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention this again. A lot of people, and myself included, Facebook can be a cesspool sometimes. It really is. It can be a place full of toxicity and douchebags and all kinds of people like that. But there's also really, really good people on Facebook and Facebook groups too. There's helpful people, there's good people, there's people that genuinely, truly care, they're sincere, they want to help. So don't think it's, oh, I'm not going on Facebook, it's just a bunch of assholes and everybody's just, no, don't do that. Like, go find good Facebook groups. And I mentioned this before. What were we talking about? I don't remember what we were talking about or what video I was talking about this. But we talked about this before, that there are good people in Facebook groups too. So don't discount Facebook groups when you're looking for friends, or you're looking for companionship or whatever. And I don't mean companionship in a romantic way. I just mean companionship, period. So if you're moving to a new city or a new country, if you're moving, Facebook groups is one way to find new friends and like-minded people as well. That's what I did when I came down to Guatemala. Now, when I moved to Mexico, I was in Mexico for a year. Now, when I moved to Mexico, like, I had no friends in Mexico. Like, I know I had one. I had one male friend, but I wanted like female friends. Like, I wanted women my age, like-minded women, spiritual, um, you know, randomish, crazy kind of women that just like to have fun. So I didn't have any friends when I went to Mexico, and I rented an Airbnb for the first time I was there, and the lady who owns the Airbnb, we became friends. So that's one way I made a friend. And I was at one of my other friends that I made. I met her at the pharmacy. So I was at the pharmacy and I was there. That was my first stint when I was first in Mexico. I was there for 2 weeks, and I needed a hairdresser and I couldn't find one. So there was this lady standing at the pharmacy beside me, and I could clearly tell she was not a local, like a Mexican woman. She was either Canadian or American, and I was soon to find out she was American. But I asked her, I'm like, hey, I need a hairdresser. Can you help me out? And we got talking, and then she became my friend, and we're still friends. So when you're out and about, don't be afraid to just say, hey, I'm new here. Where can you tell me where this is? Can you help me with that? People love to help. So don't be afraid to ask questions, even if you're out or in Facebook groups. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. Ask questions. Hey, I'm new. Can you tell me where I can find this? How hard is it to find that? Whatever the case may be. So that's another way you can make friends, is just talking, just asking. And another way is, and like I said, I'm not really sure about where you live and what the COVID restrictions are, because I know a lot of places are shutting down again, and they're locking up because of COVID. So it's kind of, honestly, it's kind of tricky right now. But if you're not in one of the locations where you're locked down and you got to stay home and be quarantined, when get out and go to coffee shops, go to different places, like step out of your comfort zone. Don't do the same thing over and over and over again. Step out of your comfort zone and go to different places, like go and check out a new restaurant, or go and check out, a little cafe or something where they have like little lounge chairs and people sit and read and that kind of stuff. Like, you can meet people that way, especially if you're new to the town that you're in. And another way, when you are in Facebook groups, honestly, I'm going to tell you, it's a lot easier these days to make and meet friends online that are in your area, not like, crazy Facebook stalkers that live in, some crazy country overseas. But like in your area, it's easier to make friends, meet and make friends online in Facebook groups. And then when you get to meet them, then you can like hang out and all that kind of stuff. It's just easier. And it's actually I think it's kind of safe, because you can get to know the person. They're in your town, wherever you live. You can see if you, have similar interests and things in common and stuff like that. And then you can like just make a date and go have coffee or go for a walk or go hiking or something. So when you're in Facebook groups, like look for groups of people in your area. I'm only talking in your area. Look for groups that, like, if you like to volunteer, look for volunteer organizations in your area and see if you can go volunteer, and you're going to make friends that way. If you like hiking trails or bird watching, or you like to do, you like to go and see, I don't know, butterflies or things like that, go and find groups in your area, that of people that do that. And already in that group, you'll already have a bunch of friends, not friends, but you already have a group of potential friends, if you will, potential people, friends, people that can potentially be your friends. So join groups. Like, I can't, groups are really, really valuable. I think that there's a lot of information and there's a lot of people in groups that can be your friend, that are really, really nice people. So here's a perfect example. I made a new friend in one of the Facebook groups that I belong to here in the town that I live in, because I needed some information. He sent me some information, and then he messaged me and we stayed in touch. And then the other day he was like, hey, if you ever want to go hiking, he says, I'm a gay guy, so don't worry about me hitting on you or anything. I'm like, I don't really care what your sexual orientation is, but sure, I'll go hiking with you. And that's how I made a friend, just by asking questions in a Facebook group and then keeping in touch with people that are kind of like-minded. So that's another way to make friends. But honestly, I think the biggest takeaway that I think that one of the main messages that I want you to take away from this video is that when you are making friends, like, just be yourself. Like, don't pretend to be somebody you're not just so that you can fit in or make friends. Like, we're past that. We don't need to do that anymore. If you met a group of people and you don't like, let's say you met a group of like 5 people and you don't like any of them, then don't hang around with them anymore. Like, go find your tribe. There are people out there who are your tribe and who will be your friends. So don't settle, if you will, don't settle for less just because you're lonely and you want friends. Like, don't do that because then you're just going to be miserable. And you don't want to be miserable. You want to make friends that are going to, that you will be able to have fun with and go do fun things with and talk with and confide in and that kind of stuff. So that's how, that's how, those are my suggestions to make friends, especially um, when you're leaving a relationship, or you're moving to a new country or a new city. And I just want to say something this thought just hit me just now, and I really, really want to share it with you. And I hope it doesn't offend anybody. My dog is getting on my nerves, and I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but I just want to drop a big truth bomb here, if I will. So when you're making friends, like when you're out and trying to make friends and meet people, like, don't whine and complain about the last 20 or 30 years of your life. Oh my God, my life has been horrible and I've had all these aches and pains and my husband was an asshole and this and that and I can't believe, like, don't do that. Like, whining and complaining, you're not going to make any friends that way. Like, honestly. And even like if you're starting a new chapter of your life, and a lot of us are over 50, starting over in life, whether you've left your country or you left your husband, whatever the case may be, like, leave the past behind. Like, don't bring your past into your future and whine and complain about it. And don't make your past part of your present or your future. Like, you're starting all over, you're starting fresh and you're starting new. So turn the page and wipe the slate clean and start on a fresher foot. Like, try to be more optimistic and try to not try, just do it. Like, be more optimistic because now you're starting another journey in your life, and it's going to be a way better journey than what you've had for the last however many years. So get up for a second because I'm tired of you kicking me in the ass. My dog's kicking me in the ass. So don't take your sorrow and your sadness and all that icky stuff from your past and bring it with you into your new existence and your new reality. Like, leave that all behind and don't try to start any friendships by whining and complaining about what you just lost and got rid of. Like, don't do that because nobody really cares. Like, nobody really wants to hear it. To be perfectly honest, nobody really wants to fucking hear it. They don't want to hear your whining and complaining and, oh, my life and, oh, it was horrible and this happened and that happened. Nobody gives a shit. Like, they really don't. And that's the reality of it, honest to God. Sometimes you will find, let's say you're like, and I hate to do this, but I have to. Let's say you're like a negative Nancy, and I really don't want you to be a negative Nancy anymore. Like, turn that around and stop being negative. But let's say you're just going to attract more negative Nancys to you, and then you're just going to be negative for the rest of your life. And that sounds horrible. So don't do that. Just don't do that. Try to turn over a new leaf, turn the page, leave all that ickiness behind, the negativity, the toxicity. Oh my God, my life is horrible. Just leave all that back there, put it back there, leave it behind, and start new and find good friends, happy friends, friends that you can share, new adventures with and that kind of stuff. So that's all I got for you guys today. So that's my take on how, and my suggestions on how to make friends. The internet is not just a horrible place full of murderers and serial killers. It's not. There are really some good people out there, and there are. Like, just don't be afraid to join groups. And even, like, I don't know, there, if you check on the internet, like if you Google meetups in your area. Like they probably still have them. Maybe they just do them on Zoom. I don't really know, but you can Google that. Like Google meetups in your area. Um, Maybe your library is still open and you can go to your library. I don't really know, but Google things like that in your area and see what comes up. And I'm sure you're going to be able to find all kinds of things, meetups or little groups and clubs and organizations, that kind of stuff, volunteer places to volunteer. I'm sure there's tons. So, anyway, those are my suggestions if you're trying to make new friends because you've just left your city, your town, your state, your province, your country, or whatever. Those are the suggestions I have for you to try to make new friends. But I think my biggest message is don't sacrifice who you are and don't pretend to be somebody you're not just to make friends because you're not gonna make the best friends that way. You're not gonna make the right friends that way. So don't do that. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you liked it, if it was helpful. I'm going to drop a link down below to a blog I wrote about how to make friends with a little bit more information in it for you. And I'm also going to drop a link down below to my Ko-fi page. If you like my work and if you like what I do and you like my videos, you can support my work and my channel by saying, thanks, Eva, I love you, you're awesome, and buy me a coffee. So that's all I got for you guys. I love you, and goodbye from Guatemala.